So when we talk about academic probation, we first want to start off by just acknowledging that there's lots of different factors that lead students to being placed on academic probation. And so some of those are just some of these general areas: college adjustment factors, academic related challenges, of course. But specifically, we know that there's some personal hardships that students face a lot and some mental health pieces, especially in recent years. So often it's not just one of these factors, but a combination of these factors. We see you. You are people first and foremost, but you're also students and family members and friends and roommates. And there's a lot going on in your lives. And we want to acknowledge that before we jump into anything too academic in nature. Now let's talk about what academic probation is. So academic probation is triggered when any of the 3 GPAs that we have at Cal Poly falls below a 2.0. And like I said, we have 3 of them. So one would be your term GPA. That's just your grades for the quarter. The second would be your Cal Poly cumulative GPA. So all of the quarters combined, all of the classes that you take at Cal Poly. And then the third one is your higher ed GPA, all coursework taken, including Cal Poly, but also outside of Cal Poly. And that's at 2-year institutions or 4-year institutions or anything like that. So if any of them or multiple fall below a 2.0, then for the next quarter until you get above a 2.0, you will be on academic probation status. Now let's talk about disqualification, because this is something we hear a lot. Are you at risk of being kicked out of Cal Poly? And in general, the answer is typically no. This cannot be triggered until after spring quarter of your first year. So for now, you are safe. But this happens when a student's higher ed GPA falls below their required academic progress level. So if you're a first year student and you are at freshman standing, that's going to be a 1.5. If you have sophomore standing, that would be a 1.75. And if you actually have junior standing already, that would be a 1.8. If you have questions about where to find those, you can come talk to us, an advisor at the Mustang Success Center. But it's only considered after spring quarter. We have it listed here twice because it's that important. So until spring quarter, you can't be kicked out, but we do want to make sure that we're making progress so that we can get above those levels. Sometimes we can do that within 1 quarter. Sometimes it takes 2 quarters. So if you have questions about how to raise your GPAs if they're pretty low, come talk with an advisor from the Mustang Success Center. Now, the best way to do that, to raise our GPA, is through grade forgiveness. So this would be repeating coursework specifically. The classes would have to be taken at Cal Poly for a grade, and you can repeat any course that you got a C- or lower in. You just re-enroll as if it's any other class, but it has to be the exact same class. So if you did Comms 101 and you struggled, you couldn't take 102 as an option. You'd want to re-enroll in 101, but it doesn't have to be the same format or same modality, not the same professor, anything like that. The original grade will remain on your transcript. So if, let's say it was a D, it'll stay on your transcript, but the next time you take the class, if you get a B, only the B would factor into your GPA. So it would be as if the original grade doesn't exist. You have 16 units to take for grade forgiveness, so approximately 4 classes. And then outside of that, you have 18 units to use toward what we call grade averaging. So all of the grades just average together in your GPA. We have some reminders here in your Canvas, so you can take a look at the policy information, the grade forgiveness information. We have some FAQs in there. If you need to figure out that GPA with finals or midterms or anything, there is a GPA calculator that you can access. And then we have a little quiz just to test your knowledge to see how comfortable you are with this policy. All of this is in Canvas. Like I said, if you have any questions, drop into the Mustang Success Center. We talk about this all the time with students, so come on in. We're happy to talk with you about this.